Okay, this is today's religious talk, and today I'm going to be talking about bad customer service. Yes, bad customer service. You see, the number one deterrent to corporations making money is the staff that they hire, because some of the staff is the biggest obstacle towards companies generating revenue because of how they treat the the people, the consumer. So this is about bad customer service, and I might have to double down on my perspective on technology, and I might have to take back some of the things that I've said in the past because maybe technology is the answer. So perhaps I should be looking forward to the robotization of the workforce. Perhaps I should be looking forward to more artificial intelligence and automated systems, because a lot of times I believe I've experienced racial profiling when I enter certain establishments, and I have a multitude of horrible customer service experiences that I've experienced throughout my lifetime, more recent. And now I hate to say it's racial profiling, but what else would you call it? Maybe it's just bad customer service, but I can give examples of things that I've gone through. And I can't help but wonder if there were robots, would I have to deal with some of the stuff that I have to deal with? Because it's extremely frustrating and stressful. Maybe unless you program the robot to be prejudiced or have preconceived notions, but I think I'd have a better time if I was dealing with a robot or artificial intelligence in some of these establishments. I'll give you an example. One time I went to the grocery store, and in the grocery store they have a wine section, and I was looking to purchase a bottle of wine for my dinner. And the attendant or the clerk in the wine section, she saw me looking at the wines, and she approached me, and this was her opening line. "Excuse me, sir, are you buying or just looking?" And I was taken aback. I was rather shocked because I couldn't believe that was her question, that was her statement. Are you buying or are you just looking? So I thought to myself, what a stupid question to ask. If I'm in the wine section and I'm looking, I'm actually doing both. I'm looking to buy. So yes, I'm looking and for the potentiality of buying. But by virtue of the fact that I'm on the premises, that I'm in the store, that indicates that I'm there to transact business. I'm a consumer. I'm there to purchase something. It's a store. So what a stupid question to ask. She should have said, "Excuse me, sir, can I help you?" Or is there any particular wine that you're interested in? Or can I help you find a nice wine? That would be the decent, appropriate thing to say. But no, she looked at me and she approached me and said, "Are you buying or are you just looking?" It's not a museum. A museum is a place where you go to look at stuff. But a store, you're there to look at stuff for the purpose of purchase. So you're looking to buy. So I was upset, and I lodged a complaint, and I had to because it was the right thing to do. But interesting enough, the thing was, there was a couple people in the aisle that overheard what had happened to me, and I could see their facial expression that they knew that she was inappropriate, that she said something wrong, that wasn't the proper way to engage me. So I actually didn't even respond to her because I was so emotionally devoid in that present moment. I was so shocked that I actually didn't even respond to her. I just kept my head straight and didn't even bother to acknowledge her because I was so fed up and I was so sick of it, of that particular question. So what this lady did, she actually went to the other couple that was beside me, and she used the same verbiage as if to prove a point, to say that, to make it look like, oh, like I have some type of chip on my shoulder. So she went up to the couple next to me and she said, "Excuse me, are you buying or just looking. And I know she used the exact same verbiage just to make it look like it was normal. So long story short, that couple said no, they're fine, that they were just looking, but they knew what was up. They could smell it. They knew that I was offended, and they knew that what she said was wrong. And I believe they actually probably reported it too. So this is an example. A grocery store or a department store is a place where you transact business. It's a place where you make purchases. It's not a museum. So train your staff and teach them how to engage with the general public properly. That way they don't come across as offensive. People are not going into stores to look at stuff. It's not a museum with artifacts. It's products for purchase, not artifacts to view. So it's ignorant, and this is how people get turned off. Give you another example. I went to PetSmart and I was looking to buy a goldfish. Now I didn't realize apparently they no longer sell goldfish as pets. I had no clue. I didn't know this. Now I've been educated, and they say that goldfish are sold as eater fish. I believe that's the term that they use, which basically means that no, sorry, correction, feeder fish. So their goldfish are basically used to as food for other fish. So you buy them as so that your other pet fish can feed off the goldfish. So they're called feeder fish. So long story short, I actually a couple of days prior I had purchased some goldfish because the store attendant sold them to me. So I had purchased, I believe it was like, I think it was two goldfish. So I purchased the two, brought them back home, put them in my fish tank. And then I realized, I said, you know what? I could actually use a couple more goldfish. So I went back to the same store and for the purpose of purchasing more goldfish. Now, this time the store clerk was there, that was there. She went out of her way to intentionally ignore me. She kept walking by me. She didn't offer any help. She helped. I tried to get her attention. Said, "Excuse me." She said, "Oh, give me 1 second," which is fine. I think this happened for at least 20, 30 minutes. I stayed there. Call me stupid. Maybe I stayed there too long. But I waited and waited. And when she finally got to me, because I was very patient, she said, "How can I help you?" I said, "I'd like to purchase some goldfish." She's like, "I can't sell that to you." I'm like, "Excuse me?" She's like, I'm not selling any goldfish to you." And I'm like, wow, in such an aggressive tone. I'm just like, why? She's like, because like it goes against our policy or something to the fact that like it's I can't sell it to you because apparently they only sell goldfish as feeder fish. So she asked me what size of a tank that I had, how big was my fish tank, because apparently goldfish have the potential to grow incredibly large. I didn't know this. I had to Google it and do some research after. It turns out this is a fact and it's true because there was an incident where, the whole concept of flushing goldfish down a toilet. They found a goldfish that was like the size of like a foot and a half or something because it grew. So basically, she says it's like criminal to have a small fish tank because if the goldfish grows to this abnormal size, it would be restricted. You need a larger tank. Otherwise, it's sold as a feeder fish. So I was like, you know what? The other day ago, I actually purchased two goldfish from this same establishment. So why is it that they sold it to me before and they didn't ask me any questions? So she was like, well, they made a mistake, but I'm not doing it. So here's the thing. That's fine. I get it. But it was that moral high ground that she took as if I was some terrible person or I had ill intentions or I was bad for even wanting to purchase. Now, I didn't like her tone. I didn't like the way she spoke to me, and I thought she was rude. And then she was wanted to get the manager and bring the manager and get the manager involved. So it was just a nasty situation. So long story short, once again, I complained, and they asked me if I could return to the store so they can offer me an exceptional customer service experience. And they apologized. And I told them, I go, you know what? That lady should work at the zoo. She belongs in a zoo, because apparently she's not there to sell animals or pets. You know, she's there to explain things about them. Once again, this is a place where you transact business. Now, if it's against their policy to sell goldfish, then that's fine. But here's the thing. She should have offered an alternative. If she was a good sales clerk, a good salesperson, she would have said, hey, unfortunately, it's against our store policy to sell goldfish, unless you're using them as feeder fish or you have the required fish tank size. But can I interest you in purchasing any other types of fish? She never said that. She was looking for a conflict, and I didn't come in there seeking a conflict. But I don't know. She was very argumentative, and it's like she had to prove a point, and she didn't want to offer me any customer service, and that's why I complained. I'm not an ignoramus. I'm not going to argue against the store policy, because that would be ignorant of me. I wouldn't be stupid enough to do that. I was genuinely seeking to purchase some fish. And if she had any class or any customer service skills, she would have said, hey, why don't I show you something else? We have other options for your fish, or for fish if you want as a pet. But no, because the issue is she didn't want to serve me. She didn't want to provide a customer experience for me. She just wanted to deny me. It was about denying me, right? And that's why I say a lot of people, it's the staff that are the biggest deterrent to companies making money. So you either have to retrain these people or you should fire them, because they shouldn't be working in these establishments because they're offensive to the customers. Now, I don't know if it's a form of racism. I can only assume that there's some racial bias, but perhaps because I saw that she was very pleasant to other people that were in the store, right? So this is why I say, is technology the answer? Why am I fighting against technologizing these processes or these establishments? Why am I fighting against the robotization of the workforce? Why am I fighting against this? Maybe this is the answer, so that I don't feel stressed when I walk into these establishments. Maybe it's better if I deal with artificial intelligence. Maybe if it's better that I deal with a robot who's not going to prejudge me or not going to have a prejudice or some attitudinal disposition towards me. You know, I give you another example. This happened to me at Starbucks, and this is one of the worst customer service experience I've ever had. I ordered a coffee, and the guy who poured my coffee, the barista, he poured the coffee to the point where it overfilled out of the cup. And obviously, a Starbucks cup is white. So just imagine a cup drenched. So now the cup is brown from the stain of the coffee. So the coffee overfilled. And I looked at him as if something was wrong. Like he seemed abstracted or momentarily like he was lost in space. So I looked at him. I said, hey, what are you doing? The coffee's overfilling. So he said, oh, so this is what this guy does. He goes and grabs a lid, takes the lid and puts it on the coffee, and then hands it to me as if everything's okay. And I said, you got to be joking. You must be out of your mind. So I looked at the guy and I said, are you serious? Like, you can't be serious. So he's just like, what? So this guy grabs the cloth. Now at Starbucks, they have those, I call it a rag, what they use to wipe the counter. He takes the cloth, wipes the coffee, and then he grabs another cup and puts the coffee, like the coffee cup, in a cup. So he double cups it and hands it to me. I said, oh my God, you know what? I can't do this. I don't want to have a temper tantrum. And I want to conduct myself properly in a public establishment, in a social setting. So I chose the high road. I walked away. I walked off. And I had paid for that coffee, keep in mind, and I didn't even care. Keep the money. I left. So here's the thing. As I turned my back and walked away, another attendant, a female, she called out to me. She said, "Sir, come back." So I thought, oh, this is a nice lady. She's like, "I'll make your coffee." So I said, what a sweetheart. This is a nice young lady. She's trying to make up for the situation. But here's what really hurts. That girl, or the female barista who made my coffee, who remade it, the look on her face was if I was some terrible person that was giving her coworker a hard time. I couldn't believe it. So they say a forced courtesy deserves no thank you. So here she was. She made me a coffee. She was trying to help the situation. And the way she handed it to me was like almost in disgust, like I was a terrible person. So I said, wow, like, look at that. Long story short, I threw the coffee away because I didn't want it because the negative energy that's in it. So once again, bad staff or poorly trained staff or people bringing their own personal prejudices into the workplace and taking it out on innocent people. So, the last one, I'm going to share a story of my experience at Walmart. I actually have multiple experiences bad negative experiences that I've had at Walmart. And Walmart's actually my favorite store to shop at. But one time I was scanning my groceries, the self-checkout, there's this one location, and I find that they're incredibly militant, and they hover behind you and they watch you, extremely militant. One time I was accused. A lady told me to scan your bag. It was my own personal bag that I purchased from Walmart to bag my groceries, and she thought that I just took the bag and didn't scan it. But little did she know I purchased it a long time ago. So that was very offensive to me. But the worst one was I was scanning my items, and it was tin items or canned food. And one item, I call it misfired. So the weight or sensor didn't pick up, and a dialog box appeared on the checkout screen, and it said like item wasn't scanned. So the attendant comes full blaze running after me, and she rolls the footage back, and it shows me attempting to scan the item and putting it in my bag. Now, I never put the item in my bag. The minute I passed it over the sensor and the dialog box said item didn't scan or because of the weight or whatever, I held the item. I didn't bag it. So the attendant came, and it's not the fact that she came to inquire, because that's her job. I wasn't upset at the fact that she inquired about the misscanned item. The thing that really pissed me off is what she said to me. She said, "Sir, what else is in your bag?" Referring to all the other items that I scanned and bagged. I said, "Oh my God, are you serious?" And she couldn't comprehend. She couldn't understand my position. I called for a manager, and I explained it to the manager. And at first, he couldn't understand that my issue was she was inquiring about all the other items that I scanned that were in the bag, as if I stole them. How the hell could I steal them? I scanned them and I bagged them. It was the last item that misfired and didn't scan. And for that reason, the dialog box popped up. So the attendant, if she's going to attend to the situation, deal with that particular item, because that's the item that didn't misscan. Don't inquire about everything else. And here's where the situation gets worse. I come to realize after, and this is the nastiness of it, that these attendants, they have like cell phones on them. And do you realize every single item that I scan, she actually was looking, she had access on the cell phone. So how audacious would it be to actually ask me what else is in my bag when you know what's in my bag? Because every time I scanned, it ringed up on your cell phone that you have the ability to monitor me from. So this is classic disrespect. Classic disrespect. So this is why a lot of these establishments, now I think that she shouldn't be a grocery store attendant. I think that she should work in loss prevention because she's trying to catch theft. And I wasn't stealing. The problem was with the machine. So whether it's Starbucks, whether it's Walmart, whether it was it's a Canadian grocery store named Loblaws, or whether it's PetSmart. And there's other incidents that I've experienced in retail settings and other settings where I felt disaffected by the customer service that I experienced, right? So the issue is now, when I've been addressing things from a biblical perspective as far as technology, and I've been basically an advocate for spirituality over technology. But now I'm getting to the point where I feel like I have to really advocate for technology. Because maybe technology will set me free. Maybe technology is the answer against racial profiling. Because the robot is not going to say, hey, are you buying or just looking? The robot's not going to do that. Right? The robot, well, unless it's programmed properly, it's not going to spill the coffee and give me a nasty coffee-drenched, soaked cup and hand it to me like nothing's wrong, like I should just accept that because I'm beneath the scale of human dignity and I don't deserve a proper coffee, right? The robot is not going to approach me like a thief and be like, what items are in your bag? What else is in that bag? What else is in that bag? As if you didn't hear every item scan and ring off that loud ding as I scanned everything and it's showing up on your phone and you still have the audacity to ask me. A robot's not going to do that, right? So maybe we need to change our position, because if human beings cannot evolve to treat one another in a dignified, respectful manner, then perhaps technology is the alternative, the better alternative. So I don't have to deal with a lot of the things I have to deal with. Now, we talk about the robotization of the workforce and the displacement of human labor and now how that's going to affect the economy, and then the idea of a universal basic income. So now people's jobs are being replaced by machines. Now, I don't want to see that, but in the same token, will my life be easier when I walk into these retail department stores? Will my life be easier when I walk into the grocery store? Will my life be easier when I go into certain establishments to transact business? Will it be easier for me? Will it be better for me if I deal with a robot instead of an actual human being who has prejudices and predeterminations, who's judging me? I say bring on the robot, right? Bring on the robot, because it's really sickening that in this day and age, 2025, that people still operate on this lower frequency, on this lower level with no respect, you know? And that's why I say a lot of these people, the problem with these people that work in stores is that they're doing too much. They're not doing their job. They should be doing a different job. Like I said, that the first lady, she should work in a zoo where people don't buy the animals, they come to look at them. Since she's not concerned with selling, your job is to sell the pet. Sell it or sell pets. Your job is not to prevent the sale of pets. You should work in a zoo, right? And the other lady in the grocery store who's racially profiling me over a $10 bottle of wine. How disgusting. A McDonald's combo costs more than $10. This is cheap wine anyway, right? She should work in a museum where she can explain artifacts and displays without having to sell them, because clearly she's not a good salesperson. Terrible salesperson, because I walked away feeling offended. Are you buying or just looking? Right? So, bad customer service was the topic today on today's religious talk. And today's religious talk is all encompassing. We talk about everything. We're going to address societal ills, social issues from a religious perspective, from a human perspective, hell, from a sociological perspective. But we're gonna expand the dialogue and branch out. We're gonna apply religious concepts to everyday social situations. So the things that are grievous to me that I want to bring attention and awareness to. So bad customer service was the topic, and I started this by saying I got to double down on my position on technology, and now I'm leaning towards it. Technology as a way to mitigate racial profiling. God bless everyone, and thank you for listening. Today's religious talk.